In this module, we're going to be looking at rigging hardware. So rigging hardware is necessary. It's what connected the slings and the hooks and the pulling mechanism, lifting mechanisms all together. So in this section, we're going to learn about the various types of rigging slings, hardware, and equipment, and also should be able to identify and describe how to inspect common rigging hardware. And yes, we'll be looking at a performance test when we come back to class and look at how to demonstrate some different things by lifting a load. Some of the terms are things that we use for lifting, like a shackle. Shackles is a coupling device used in a usually is connected to slings or hooks or other type of devices. Low stress is when we put strain on some type of lifting device or uh, or any type of lifting device is load strain. Um, Threaded shank uh, it's a connection end of a fastener, such a bolt, with a series of spiral grooves that is cut into it. The grooves are designed to mate with the grooves cut into another object in order to join them together. Lifting clamps. There's many different types, but it's a device used to move loads such as steel plates or concrete panels without using a sling. It's pretty neat how these lifting clamps works. You see them in steel mills and places that lift very high sheets many times. Rigging hook. In basically is a item of rigging hardware used to attach a sling to a load. So let's take a look at some of these pieces of hardware. These are what we call shackles. It looks like a U shape with a bolt goes through it. And basically, this can connect to hooks, it could connect to slings, um, synthetic things, but synthetic slings. But basically, is a screw pin, which is this in red, an anchor shackle, which is this, are the most common types. And what's in common with all these, there's a bolt that threads into one side of this. Okay. Well, not all of them bolted. This one used a cotter pin. This these here has cotter pins also, but they do make ones that are used with threaded in. These are easier to install and take apart compared to these cotter pins. You need a tool to actually to put it in and to remove it. And this shows you this threaded in basically clockwise with screw in, counterclockwise to take it off. This little hole there, we can stick a screwdriver or a rod in to help tighten it or to loosen it. These are what we call eye bolts. It's like a little circle combined. They make many different types of eye bolts. This is a threaded eye bolt. It doesn't have what we call a shoulder. A shoulder is this part here. It's basically like a stop. If you can do the same thing down here. You can use washers and a couple of these nuts on it to make a stop a lot lower. But then again, these are different types of eye bolts. Lifting clamps, like I said, these are used for lifting like sheets and things. They're really neat. Um, Basically, you slide this over the sheet, and once you pull on it, the jaws close up and hold it in place. And as soon as you release it and take the stress off this rope here, it will relax and it will let go. So it can lift very heavy pieces of sheet metal and other things, even concrete blocks or complete concrete slabs. It can do a pretty good job doing that. Here's some of the things that you look for to reject it. If there's any damage, if something is bent, if it's been grooved into, or somebody accidentally cut into it, or been dragging on the ground and some of the materials has been ground off, or is rusty, it needs to be replaced, destroyed and replaced. These are rigging hooks, many different types. Matter of fact, there's a lot of different type of rigging hooks. So take a really close look at it and read the descriptions in your book. Um, for example, how the eyelet is positioned. This eyelet is in the same position as the hook. This eyelet is 90 degrees of the hook. The hook is going this direction, like this direction, but this is going that direction. This is another one that you could thread through with a line. And so these are designed to hold chains. So that's why it's so narrow. The link will pop into it, and one section of it, then you'll be able to lift. This is if you are using like turnbuckles or using shackles. You can use these type of hooks. These are used again if there's chains that you are trying to lift by. Okay, these are other type of rigging hooks that is defective, but again, just going through a inspection, looking for certain things. For example, this latch here that keep the chain or the cable or the rope from slipping off. This is spring loaded. If it's broken, you need to get rid of it. Look at this. This is twisted. This stop here doesn't make contact. Um, this one here is rusted. So any of these, if it's broken, damaged, scratched up really badly, it should be replaced. What's wrong with that hook? This hook been stretched out of position. It should be, this hook here should be touching this, but it been overloaded, which caused it to stretch it. And if you're trying to lift a load, it might slip off. This shackle here, it says what type of shackle is this picture, and this one uses, if you look closely, it's not threaded. It has a cotter pin. So it's a round pin anchor shackle. Alrighty. So what type of eye bolt is pictured here? If we notice, it doesn't have a shoulder. So it's an unshouldered eye bolt. What is good for moving sheet metal or other than walled components? And that's easy. We kind of talked about that. These lifting clamps. What rigging hook is pictured below? That's what we call a grab hook. A grab hook. In other words, it designed small opening, but again, and it's a lot longer. There's no stop there, so you can lift down and grab something and be able to lift it.